everyone, welcome to my channel Anupma Biology Classes. In this ecology series, today our topic is weather and climate. This video is taken from CBSE class 12th, part 2nd of chapter 13. Now, see here the lecture overview that what we will see in this video. In this video, we will see weather, climate, habitat, microhabitat, need, and Goss principles and competitive exclusion. So, regional and local variations within an ecosystem and biomes result in the formation of variety of habitats. These habitats depict variability in the physical and chemical conditions due to variation in abiotic and biotic factors. So before discussing these factors, that is abiotic and biotic, which we will see in the next video, let us first explain the terms, that is weather, climate, habitat, microhabitat and niche. So here the first topic is weather. So what is weather? The short-term properties of the atmosphere such as temperature, humidity, rainfall, pressure, sunshine, cloud cover, wind, etc. at a given place and time is called weather. It reflects the hourly, daily or weekly changes in these properties. Weather not only varies from place to place at the same time but also at the same place at different times. Now, after this, what is climate? So, climate refers to the average weather conditions of a particular area. Climate also includes general patterns of atmospheric conditions, seasonal variations, and weather extremes averages over long periods such as seasons or years. Temperature and rainfall are the most important abiotic factors which determine the climate of an area. In different regions, different input of solar radiation coupled with the redistribution of heat energy through winds and ocean current result in global variations of the temperature and rainfall. All forms of life on this planet Earth is governed by global climate patterns formed by changes in temperature, rainfall and humidity in different regions of the globe. Climatic zonation with characteristic vegetation also occur along the altitude. For instance, in tropical region, a high mountain may reveal all the four zones via tropical, subtropical, temperate and alpine. A mountain in subtropical region may reveal only subtropical, temperate and alpine zones. A mountain in temperate region may have only two zones, temperate and alpine. So, in each altitudinal zones, variations are observed due to seasonal or annual changes in precipitations. Therefore, two climatic factors, that is temperature and precipitations, are the most important in determining the type of soil as well as vegetation. Now, what is microclimate? Microclimate refers to the climatic conditions present at local scale, that is within an area of the limited size, for example, immediate surroundings of the various organisms. So in this picture you can see the microclimate on a hill. Now after this, here you can see the climatic zones and their characteristic vegetations based on variation in mean temperature along the latitude. So what is this? See here. You can see here the zone, latitude in degrees Celsius, average mean temperature in degrees Celsius, winter season and characteristics vegetations. So there are four characteristics vegetations and here are the four zones which are tropical, subtropical, temperate and Arctic and Antarctic. So in tropical zone, latitude is 0 to 20 in degrees Celsius. Average mean temperature is over 24. Winter season is nil and the characteristic vegetation is tropical forest. In case of subtropical, the latitude is 20 to 40. Average mean temperature is 17 to 24. Winter season mild winter, and the characteristic vegetation is subtropical deciduous forest. In temperate region, the latitude is 40 to 60. Average mean temperature is 7 to 17. Winter season, winter with occasional snow, and the characteristic vegetation is mixed coniferous forest. And the last one, that is Arctic and Antarctic. Here you can see the latitude is 60 to 80. Average mean temperature is below 7. Winter season is severe, prolonged winter with abundant snow, and the characteristic vegetation is Arctic vegetation. So this is, you can see, on the basis of variations in the mean temperature along the latitude, four climatic zones have been recognized. Now, after this, habitat. So what is habitat? The term habitat is used by the ecologist in the same sense as by the layman. It indicates a specific place where a species or populations normally lives in nature. It is a physical area, some particular parts of the earth's surface, air, soil, or water. Habitat includes both living and non-living objects. The habitat of the rabbit, that is Oryctolagus cuniculus, is the grassland and open woodlands. Same as in case of elephants also. The habitat of catfish, that is Velagonia attu, is the river, streams and canals all over India. Here you can see that there are four different type of habitats, which are ocean, forest, deserts and the grassland. The habitats of the Indian shark, Scoliodon, is the sea all along the Indian coast. The habitats of the malarial parasite, that is Plasmodium vivax, is the red blood corpuscles of the human for a part of its life cycle, and the stomach of the female Anopheles mosquitoes for the other part of its life cycle. So, an organism habitats may be as large as the entire ocean or as small as the termite's intestine. More than one animal or plant species may live in the same habitat. For example, algae, floating plants, rooted plants, water insects, fish, and frogs all live together in a pond. Now, if we talk about the habitat specificity, all animals often live in a specific habitats having particular environmental conditions. For example, the amphibians occur in the freshwater only. Some animals are, however, more tolerant and can live in places with different environmental conditions. For instance, the fish Hilsa can live in both freshwater and saline water. The larvae of insect Chironomus can live in water with very high and very low oxygen content. Now, if we talk about the microhabitat, a habitat may be divisible into regions having different environmental conditions and different kinds of organisms. Such subdivisions of a habitat are called microhabitats. For example, the muddy bottom and the surface water of a pond, tree, canopy, and the forest floor, burrows, and the surface in a desert are microhabitats. So here you can see the different microhabitats in the natural pond, where you can see in the bright light, in the hard substrate, in the low light, soft substrate, accumulate sediment area, aquatic plants, shaded area, organic materials, partially separated pools. So these are the different type of microhabitats in the natural ponds. Now, after this, what is ecological niche? So, the word niche literally means a specific place. However, the ecologists use it for the habitat along with the role a species or a population plays in its ecosystem. Its role includes such factors as what it eats, what eats it, its ranges of movement, its nesting and other requirements, season and time of its activity, and its effect on other components of the community and on the physical environment. In other words, ecological niche means the total interaction of a species with its environment or its functional position or status in an ecosystem. Ecological niche depends on the species, structural adaptations, physical responses, and behavior. To illustrate niche, consider a rabbit, an inhabitant of grassland or open woodland. It is a herbivore. To live, it eats plant, that is grass, tender crops such as cereals, vegetables such as turnips, carrots, and lettuce, and the young trees. It alters the soil by digging a burrow to leave it. It adds fecal pellets to the soil. The fecal pellets may be eaten by dung beetles. A rabbit may be eaten by cat, dog, or fox. Every interaction of the rabbit with its environment is a part of its niche and determines where it can live and what other organism can live in the same habitat with it. This is all about the ecological niche. So, what is ecological niche? The ecological niche describes the functional position of an organism in its environment. A niche comprises the habitat in which the organism lives, the organism activity pattern, the period of time during which it is active, and the resources it obtained from the habitat. Now, Goss principle and the competitive exclusion. So, what is this? What is Goss principle and what is competitive exclusion? There is usually a single species in an ecological niche of any given habitat. This is an important generalization in ecology and is called Goss principle. If two species happen to have the same niche in a community, a direct competition between the two will eliminate one of them. This is due to competitive exclusion, a principle which states that the two species with very similar niche cannot survive together because they compete so intensely that one species eliminates the other. So, what is competitive exclusion? So, principle states that the two species competing for the same resources cannot coexist. No two similar species occupy the same niche at the same time. Possible outcomes of competition are extinction of one species, resource partitioning, splitting the niche, character displacement. Two similar species evolve in such a way as to become different from each other by accentuating their initial minor differences. Now, what are the difference between the habitat and the ecological niche? So, Epiodum has differentiated habitat and ecological niche by saying that the habitat is organism address and the ecological niche is its profession. Difference between the two concepts may be made clearer by an example. So, water bugs Belostoma and Coryxa lives in the shallow water at the edge of a pond. Both have the same habitat, practically living side by side. Belostoma, the giant water bug, is a predator and feeds on other insects, tadpoles, snails, and small fishes. While the Coryxa, the water boatman, is a scavenger and takes dead decaying organisms. Each plays a different role in the biological economy of the pond. Thus, there are each occupies a different ecological niche. Basic differences between the habitat and ecological niche are here you can see. Habitats are a specific physical space occupied by an organism or a species, while the niche a functional space occupied by an organism in the same ecosystem. Habitat is same habitat may be shared by many organisms, and niche a single niche is occupied by a single species. Habitat specificity is exhibited by organism, while the organism may change their niche with time and season. So, what are the main variations or differences between the habitat and niche? Habitat is the place where an organism lives out its life. It is where the organism finds food, shelter, and mates. While the niche is its role in the community and how it interacts with the environment, how it obtains foods, mates, and protection from the predators. Now, after this, here you can see the ecological equivalence. It means different species in similar niche. So, what are ecological equivalents? Are species that occupy similar niche but lives in different geographical regions. For example, Mantella frog of Madagascar and the poison dart frog of the South America. Both have the same niche in similar habitats, but will never compete for the same resources because they live in different geographical regions. In wooded areas, owl fits on shrew and mice, but in regions near human habitations, cat fits on shrew and mice. Thus, owl and cats occupy the same ecological niche in different communities. The different animal occupying similar ecological niche in different geographical region is called ecological equivalence. Another examples of the ecological equivalent is seen in the Arctic fox and the African jackal that live far apart but both are scavengers and both also take bird eggs. Now, the same species in different niche. The same species may occupy different niche. The carnivorous fox, forced by the winter shortage, changes over to dried berries and grapes. In this picture, you can see the different type of beak size. Here the spinning, that is the nectar, probing, that is insects, and the crushing, that is seeds. So, a tadpole is a primary consumer as feeds on water weeds, whereas the adult frog is a secondary consumer as it takes insect, worms, and spiders. Rat flea larva is a scavenger as it takes decaying organic matter, but the adult flea is a parasite sucking blood of its host. So this is the end of video in which we knew about the weather, climate, microhabitats, habitats, and niche, and the differences between the habitats and the ecological niche. The next upcoming video in ecology series will be on the environmental factors. So if you understand this video, please like and share it and subscribe to my channel Anupma Biology Classes. If you have any questions, any queries or any suggestions, you can ask in the comment section below. Keep watching, keep growing, keep learning, and thank you for the watching.